Hi, Nayiri. I'm so happy to see you today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me, Lucie. Thank you.
I have a question for you, if you don't mind me just pivoting back for a second to your more extended fast, or even your 48-hour fast, 42 or 48-hour fast. When I do fasts that are longer in nature, when I end up with a low blood sugar or I've had to eat a couple glucose tabs, and then maybe you end up on the roller coaster just because you haven't exactly matched up how many carbs you need for your low blood sugar, and then your insulin kicks in. I'm on the loop algorithm, so unless I dial back my insulin sensitivity properly when I'm doing those longer fasts, sometimes I can actually end up on a roller coaster with low blood sugars, even if I'm in a very fasted state. And I saw on your blog, when you were doing those longer fasts, there were times where you had kind of erratic blood sugars. How did you push through those?
By believing that at the end, it will end well. Believing in yourself. Look, if we have, as type 1s, if we have to give up on our control every time we have roller coasters, well, we would have given up long ago. I would have given up long ago. People look at me now and think that I'm just flatlining every single day, all day long, and that's sort of physiologically normal. Well, no, I'm not flatlining every single day, all day long. My blood sugars elevate. But as I said, I'm proud that they elevate within a normal range. And most of the time, not all, most of the time I can explain why I had that rise or why I had that low. Now, it's normal to have uncontrolled blood sugars, even when you're fasting. If you have erratic blood sugars and you can't explain, it could be one of 100 things. just continue. Don't give up. Continue. Hydration is extremely important during a fast. I don't remember making, yes, I probably have made a point of how important it is in my blogs, but hydration is very, very important. At the end of the day, even when you're fasting, you still have to take insulin, and you still need to make sure that the insulin isn't too high to cause blood sugar drops. And you have to make sure that it's not too low either, so you're not having blood sugar rises. But of course, insulin isn't the only thing that controls, your blood sugars. Cortisol levels, stress levels, lack of sleep, disrupted sleep, the CGM beeping through the night, for example. So the next morning, you're going to have erratic blood sugars because you haven't had a restful sleep. All of these other things impact, even the weather, something as simple as the weather, whether you're sweating, you're not sweating, it's sunny, it's cold. So it's okay. If you're having erratic blood sugars during your fast, it's perfectly normal, just as it is normal to have erratic blood sugars on any other day when that you're eating, not fasting. So it's fine. It's not the end of the world. Just continue doing whatever you're doing and believe that, your next experience will be a better one, whether you're fasting or keto. Beginners, they don't know how to adjust their insulin because they've now suddenly lowered their carbohydrate levels from 100 grams of carbs per day to 50 grams. So does that necessarily mean they have to reduce their insulin straight away by 50% because carbs have been reduced from 100 grams to 50 grams? Well, not necessarily. You won't know unless you're doing it and you're experimenting on yourself. There aren't any formulas that would work when it comes to insulin adjustment or, insulin dosing or fasting or whatever. No single formula would work for every type 1 diabetic in exactly the same way. In fact, I've noticed that my 90-hour fast, for example, my insulin needs were completely different to my insulin needs when I fasted for 100 hours. And you would think 100-hour fast was longer, so I would have required a lot less insulin to maintain. The longer you fast, obviously, less insulin you will need. Well, I ended up taking actually more insulin to maintain normal blood sugars for the 100-hour fast than for the 90-hour fast. Because our bodies are reactionary. We our bodies just are affected by our hormones, by the monthly cycle, by, everything around us has an impact on our blood sugars and insulin requirements. And so it's not just, the food. So yeah, that was interesting finding for me. And I was going to write a blog. I think it's long overdue now, comparing my experience of the two fasts. But that was one thing I noticed. Well, 100-hour fast, 10 hours longer, and yet my insulin needs were a lot higher overall. So if you're having erratic blood sugars, coming back to your question, Lucie, don't worry about it. Just keep on fasting. It's fine. Next time you fast, you might actually have, better result. And the third time you fast, blood sugars might, have a mind of their own sometimes. You might have erratic blood sugars. And that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I guess I ended up getting frustrated when that happened, but I should just take that as a learning experience and just push forward and incorporate what I've learned into the next one. I think that's what you're trying to say.
Exactly. Because no two fasts are the same. Even my, the shorter fasts, I call them for shorter fasts, like 36 hours, 48 hours. No two fasts have ever gone exactly the same way with exactly the same insulin reduction protocol. Each one of them has been different, and I'm the same person. And I was doing it over the past 7 weeks, 48-hour or 46 to 48-hour fast every single week over a period of 7 consecutive weeks. Same person.
That's fascinating.
Not years apart. Same age, same person, 7 weeks. Each one of those fasts was different because there are external factors that, have an impact on blood sugar. So you have to be prepared to constantly sort of work through it and adjust your insulin needs based on your blood sugars for that day, for that time. It's helpful if you write. I mean, my blogs help me, and they actually, it's funny to say this, but my blogs motivate me too, because I look back at them and I think, wow, I did the 90 hours or the 100 hours. So yeah, I'm feeling a little hungry now at 28 hours, but hey, it's only 28. I'm sure I can go longer. Sometimes I feel hungry at 26 hours and I go, well, why? Because my body usually has a food every 23 hours, right? So for that 1 hour, it's used to being fed once a day because I have one meal a day. So anywhere between 23 to 26 hours, I get this nagging hunger, and I have to look for motivation around me because no one else in my family does fasting the way I do. And so sometimes I go back to my blog or distract myself, and hunger comes like a wave. It comes and goes. And so when you ignore it, it kind of goes away.
Yeah, when you keep busy.
Yeah, you keep busy, it goes away, it doesn't come back. So
yeah, no, that's great. And I love, and in the show notes, we'll have all of the links to where that people can find you, but your blogs are super informational, and you have all of your charts of your blood sugars and your insulin usage and all that stuff during these extended fasts and other fasts too. And it's extremely informative if you're type 1 and you're trying to do something like that. So that I'm so glad you put that up there. And I hope at some point you do that comparison that you were talking about, because I think that would be very helpful.